Hello, my name is Daniel Considine. This is my daughter Ligaya. I'm the inventor of a couple of new tools I'd like to show you today. The first one is the high-speed extension breaker bar. This is the long version. I also have a short version I'd like to show you. Firstly, this is a extension straight through when I put a ratchet on it. Just like I say, extension straight through. If I don't have my ratchet with me, it's a breaker bar. You can break bolts loose like a traditional breaker bar would, or tighten them up. When they're very loose, I rotate it up, and I now have a high-speed spinner. I can spin a lot of bolts on, a lot of bolts off very quickly with this. But another really good feature is if I have another extension, I go ahead and I add length to it, and now I have a deep reach breaker bar. So if I have a bolt down in a hole, or a bolt down in a very deep area where it's very inaccessible, this will reach it, and I can still break them loose or tighten them up. Now I have a short version of this very wrench that fits in your pocket. This very short one does the exact same thing as this long one does. All you have to do is you put your socket directly onto it. You use your ratchet. There it is, an extension. It's a 3-inch straight through extension. When I use an extension on it, now I have a breaker bar. Again, I break my bolts loose with this, tighten them up, rotate it up, and I reverse it this time, just like that. Now I have a high-speed spinner. Spin bolts on, spin them off very quickly. And when I need to reach down in a hole or hard, inaccessible place, again, I add an extension to it, and I have a deep reach breaker bar. Break them loose, tighten them up. And I have one more tool today I'd like to show you. It's called my rotating hitch flex wrench. I have two here that I've built, two working prototypes. The long version is the first one I made. I think I like the short one. It feels a lot better in your hand. They both do the same thing. One important thing to notice on this is it has a extension port which you really can't see, and it flexes in the middle, and I'll show you why these are the best features on this wrench. First of all, I want to show you why I invented this. Is because of what's currently on the market is a flex wrench. Now my wrench goes 360 degrees around. The wrench on the market goes 180 degrees total. And this wrench works well when it's straight, in line, except for a couple of things, which number one is head clearance. You need a lot of clearance to use this wrench because of the size of the head. I've made two cutouts to show how much wrench space it takes to go 360 degrees with this wrench. You can see this is a very big-headed wrench, and it takes a lot of room. And when you're a mechanic and you're using tools in a tight situation, you rarely have that much room to use a wrench. The wrench I designed uses, as you can see, a much smaller space to use for the head clearance. It fits in a very tight area. That's one reason I invented it, and another reason is the ratcheting part of this wrench works very well, except for when you use the wrench itself and you use the handle to pry things loose or tighten them up. It works great when it's straight, but as soon as you use the flex on the flex wrench, it takes your force that's with the handle, and it's a twisting action against the head. Your plane of rotation is no longer with the bolt or nut that you're trying to loosen, and it moves with the head, and it actually tries to pry it off the bolt. As you can see, this is no longer a force that is of any value loosening or tightening any bolt. It's twisting it off. Even down at a low angle, it's still more of a twisting action instead of a turning action. So I went ahead and I came up with this wrench, which of course the head goes 360 degrees either way. You can use a wrench at any angle. To reverse the wrench, you simply flip the head over. Now it goes the opposite direction. The problem with the other one, with the plane of rotation not being with the work, I've eliminated, because the flexing handle, you literally keep your piece of work at the same angle as the handle, no matter what angle it is. 90 degrees even. It's straight up, straight down, doesn't matter. I can keep the wrench with the bolt. If I need a lot of force, even on way up here, I still get the right plane of rotation. It isn't a twisting action, it's a turning action. I can also add length to this wrench for really tight bolts. You can't lengthen a regular wrench. What you have is what you have. One of the other main features is when you break a bolt loose or tighten it up, as soon as you do, you flip it up and you can ratchet off very quickly. When it's very loose, you spin it off, just like that. Spin it on, spin it off very quickly. You can even stick your finger in the opposite wrench head if it's large enough. If it isn't, you can just push it either way. It works very well. When I need additional leverage with this wrench, all I have to do is put an extension in the port. There's one at either end, work either way. What I do when I do that is I have a longer dog bone wrench, much longer reach. And when I bring it up, I have more leverage. Even if it's at a 90-degree angle or somewhere in between, doesn't matter. I have a lot more leverage. And what this wrench does and no wrench does, again, I can add even more length to it. I can reach straight down and have a very long reach. And I have a ratchet, regular traditional ratchet handle on this wrench. And I can use it down in a hole. I could literally add a breaker bar to it. And since the head is a ratcheting head, reach down here and still ratchet bolts on and off. Doesn't matter. Now this wrench would come in a graduated set of either 4 or 5 wrenches, depending on how large, how small you want it to go. And the extension port with a 3/8 size extension would work in all the way down to 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter. And if you want an extension port in a smaller wrench, you would have to go down to a 1/4 inch drive extension. But you know, again, this wrench works very well, and it solves a lot of the problems that haven't been addressed with the wrench that's currently on the market. And again, the high-speed extension breaker bar has 4 separate functions, including the small one, same exact thing. Wonderful tool, fits in your pocket. Use it with your socket set, your extensions. You have breaker bars, you have high-speed spinners, and again, it fits right in your pocket. Very handy tool. And again, my name is Daniel Considine, and I'm the inventor of the high-speed extension breaker bar and the rotating heads flex wrench. Thank you.